human body is a wonderful machine, but in some circumstances it's actually quite fragile. And what some people don't appreciate is how easy it can be to hurt themselves or harm somebody else without realising what they're doing. So for instance, it only takes one hard kick or punch in the wrong part of the body at the wrong place and can cause quite severe injury to the person who has been hit. Your brain's nicely protected with a skull, which is a bit of a hard box, but one of the problems then is with a bruise on your face, the bruise will come out. If you have a bruise on the inside, there's got nowhere to go. So someone who comes in quite well but develops a bruise over a period of time can deteriorate because that increases the pressure upon the brain. So that's one of the reasons that people with severe head and brain injuries would need to stay in hospital for longer, and we keep a very close eye upon them to make sure that they weren't getting any worse. Of course, traditionally a lot more people go out and have fun at weekends. Inevitably there'll be a lot more people that have more to drink than there would at other times, and there are a lot of people out and about. We definitely see an increased number of attendances at those times. Some of them from road crashes as people are going home, some of them from people who've just fallen and hurt themselves, and of course, unfortunately, some of the people who attend have been in fights before they've come to hospital. When people have a lot of drink, people become very disinhibited. When people have a lot of drink as a crowd, then unfortunately some of the behaviours of a herd are much worse than they might be if one person was involved. And you may well find more severe risks being taken, whether it's people climbing pylons, going into disused houses, or getting into fights and actually having quite severe injuries caused because of their lack of concern for their own and other people's health. Accident emergency is open 24 hours a day, so we'll treat whoever comes through the door. Our job is to be professional and treat the patients that come here, not to make judgments about the patients who are here, what's the matter with them, and whose fault it was. So it would be wrong of us to start making a judgment that someone was here purely because they'd had alcohol or because they'd taken drugs. But it does mean that there are people who attend here who perhaps needn't have attended. What you've got to realise is that the resources in the emergency department and in the hospital backing us up are limited. And it is clear that at times if we get an influx of people whose attendance could have been avoidable, that will have a significant impact upon the team and the resources of both the department and the hospital. And what we find in a small department is that at times we do get overwhelmed because the amount of patients arriving needing help is more than we can accommodate immediately. So inevitably, at the very least, it does increase the waiting time and treatment time for some patients.